Let's go see if... Dang it. It did it in the channel again. Grr. I'm gonna just turn you off. Hold on. Yeah, you can see my desktop. That's what I want. Turning this off. All right. And let me check stream. I don't even know if stream's running. Got slightly different reorganization here. It says they're running, so I don't trust them. I come out to here and I look, and look, we are streaming. Okay, we're streaming on YouTube. Streaming on Kick, and we're streaming on Twitch. Okay. We're good. I can minimize those. This is what I want to turn off while I'm thinking about it. Surprised that I could move the channel to, come on. Yeah. My laptop fan's going a little crazy. There we go. This Carnival. Channel United Carnival only. It says paused. I don't know why. I think I'll just move it to the streamer channel. I don't want that. Edit. I'm gonna move it to the content creator. And I don't know, the channel status paused required. Like, I did the paused, so whatever. I think for me and the content creator, until I do some like more specific I can do the specific stream. This is so slow. If I could do specific streams, if I broke it out into separate channels, and I could say this channel is live and this YouTube channel is live on this disc, announced into this Discord channel, and I can say this YouTube channel is live and announced into a different Discord channel. But I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. Where am I? Well, I'm home. And I made a few changes yesterday. And one of them is I turned off, yeah. So I'm charging the lapel mic over here, and I got a different setup on this I could show. And I've got a button where I can go to another camera here, which is a little, it's NDI, so it shouldn't be really focusing on me. But I got set up my Stream Deck yesterday, and I would show that on this. All this. I've only got on here on charging. It doesn't. It could be wireless, whatever. So this is the setup. I've got my Neo set up, where I can basically mute the microphone, and I will change this so that it mutes all the whichever microphone I'm using. It's going to mute them all and unmute them all. And I dive into my scenes, but I only have one scene really. I've got a closer, but I might move the closer. The closer is going to automate a stop. And so it's kind of how I stop streaming, is doing that. And then this is the Pixel 7 Pro. Focus on that's pretty bad. That I can turn that on and off. Press this, it turns off. Press that, it turns on. And then I can go be right back. Hey, it didn't. Oh, because it's over top. Yeah, I got to put it under top. Bug there. On this, if I basically move you down. And below the be right back. There we go. So the be right back would take over. And I'm not convinced the NDI music capture is working at the moment. So anyway, now that I hit be right back, all right, we're back. We have studio mode. Is that now? So I had the mic muted there, but basically if I go into be right back, what I would do, I was noticing when I'm be right back, the now playing, switch over here real quick. Turn off that automation. Or disabled the now playing because I'm not playing music at the moment. I'll get to that in a moment. That if I go be right back, it will mute the mic. Be right back is by default mute the mic. But I can also, when I go be right back, I can basically turn on the mic with this. So I'll go what I'm going to do is hit be right back, and then I'm going to unmute the mic. Yeah, I didn't remember the state. Okay. Something about the automation on that probably didn't mute the state right. And then I've got redact, this little over here. If I hit redact, the whole screen, and I realized I probably don't want the whole screen redacted. I probably only want the source redacted. So I'm going to change that, and I'll make a note of it. So unredact and change the source. And then I'll turn off the pixel camera, come back to here. So a few more tweaks. And then while the camera's not being used, I keep it charged because it uses up a little bit of power. Notes, goals. I will add a note. You can see these over here. These are the goals which show up in the stream itself. And then these are the notes that I kind of keep more internal, but they're more just kind of for my reference. But that was change the source. And really the stream tweaks are going to really be for me. The stream tweaks have nothing to do, unless I want to talk about them. Stream tweaks, for example, a stream tweak would be adding redacted. I think I already had this written somewhere. Add redacted when redacting. Only redact MacBook screen. It's easy to do. Some of these things documenting them makes them take like 10 times, 100 times longer. Keeping track of stuff, and it's almost like keeping track of stuff makes me more scatterbrained because now I have to remember. It's counterintuitive. I have to remember where I have this documented. Because I do not find it possible to find one place, one location where you store all of your knowledge. That just seems like an unachievable goal. It's Halloween, so yeah, I'm wearing this. These are my actual PJs, that's for sure. Shitty stool. Least shitty stool. As this is one of my work areas. And I'm working on something right now on the goals is, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble and get docked and get a copyright strike on this. Because I learned my lesson here. Let's do goals of Nesbit. Oh, I got it here. Yeah, Neistat, sorry. I was thinking Casey Nesbit. Who's Nesbit? Neistat. So, getting a little kind of less techie here and more kind of, I don't know about philosophical, but it's kind of in the soul searching arena, which is in the area of philosophy. Oh, and I was going to add the note for like things that I am, there's tweaks that I will just be making to the stream as this is kind of from scratch, this behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if it was obvious from the stream yesterday that I'm starting this OBS scene collection from scratch, which is kind of exciting. I wonder about, not even a streamer as far as I'm concerned. Like I do it once a week. I'm gonna try actually to stream one day a week, every day this week, and just see what happens. And to do this, I need to engage more and get chat up and running. So that's an example of, if I come over to notes, see how scattered my brain is? And In-stream overlay. Code. These are. You can't see me highlight them in the sidebar, but you can see me highlight them in that. I want to get the in-stream chat overlay up and running. My streams have been pretty rough in the past because I was using NDI, and I think I'm at the point where I finally ponied up. I'm a developer on the NDI OBS NDI plugin, distro AV, and I use it, and I have used it, and it was awesome, and it still is awesome for its use case. But basically, the target audience is people who don't want to pay money. And if you want it for free, and you don't want to pay Elgato $250 for a decent USB capture audio video capture card, then you're going to do it for free. And NDI is great until it isn't great, and you run into software limitations and bandwidth limitations and Wi-Fi complications and all sorts of that stuff. I am sad, heartbroken that I am now almost entirely done with NDI, except for the fact that I use an NDI camera here. It has its place. I've got this NDI music that I broadcast onto the network. I have a feeling that I know what the problem with NDI might be. I just haven't I haven't proven it. But I'm hoping, I think I've resolved most of my stream's technical problems for the gaming side, because I'm now using two $250 Elgato 4KX capture cards. And the reason why I got those, I had an EVGA XR1 Pro and an Elgato HD60S, HD60, whatever, HD60X. I'm not going to bother going to get them. Maybe I could. Maybe I could I'll test out my be right back. What do I do here? See ya in just a moment. I'll be right back. I'm going somewhere with this. Mostly that if I'm not engaged in the chat right now, it's because I'm setting up this behind the scenes. And my goal is, absolutely, my goal is to have a behind the scenes channel, not corrupt or crowd or add noise to the gaming channel. I do recognize they're separate things, but at the moment I can't justify having them be separate channels. But if it's not about the views, then I should just do it anyway, right? It's not about the views. It's not about trying to grow the subscriber count. And I'll get to that today in that Casey Neistat advice. I'm going to touch on that philosophically. So if I'm not engaged with the chat at the moment, it's not that I'm not interested, it's that I'm still setting up this behind the scenes stream. And I already have the channel made. I have a behind the scenes channel made. Why does it do this? Is that really? Wow. Yeah. So I've got all these tabs. Bam. Yeah. It's actually the content. It's this that I want, not this. I have I have other channels, settings. That's the channel settings. If I come to Um, I do want YouTube. Is that's weird. That channels. Where do I go? Add or manage the channels. Here we go. I do have a behind the scenes. So I could add that as a note to get that up and running. It's not about the views. Good. I forget NvK BTS. Can I just look at the URL notifications, via advanced settings? I don't want to make it the default. Move to a different brand account. Yeah. Really? Come on. Bam. Redirects. Man. Advanced settings. Viewer manager channels. I just want to grab this. Get this up and running. And I need to switch out of the channel. I want to go to this channel, make sure that's the one that's active. All right. So could do that. Chat. So if I'm not engaged and responding to chat on my 0 viewers, because it's like, I'll get to this in a second. Number 1 in the list is what I've been watching. It's not that I'm not interested. It's that I'm really just getting things up and running on this behind the scenes channel. And that's going to actually simplify a lot of things. I can turn that back on. Okay. But I'm solving some technical problems. This was my EVGA. I even put these like crazy little, not that crazy, but just HDMI right angle things under, because this is going to be on my desk. This is going to sit on my desk, right there, and everything's going to be flush mounted. It's going to be like I try to make my desk is the only area in my office that's actually kind of tidy. I try to keep my cables tidy in the drawers. Sometime I'll give a tour of the office, the huge office, the tour of it. But I was going to use these. I had these stacked. I had this HD60X, HD60X, and this EVGA XR1 Pro. I've had these for several years, and I'm having NDI problems, and I'm going to basically make an attempt to eliminate NDI as much as possible, because my theory is that it's GPU bound, and the GPU is doing too much, and maybe it's the hardware acceleration. If I disable that, tangents, I don't know how I can avoid tangents and topics. Like that's a whole like spiel of that's a deep topic, basically. I haven't solved the problem, so why should I even bother talking about it? That I was going to solve the problem by just ponying up the cache. Stop using NDI. Stop fighting GPU. I'm playing a game. I'm playing Star Citizen, which is not a trivial game, on the GPU and the CPU. And of course, I'm always known that NDI is taxing on the system, especially when you enable hardware. But I think once the GPU gets warm enough, so it could be temperature throttling, and that concerns me. I need to look into it, because maybe I need to replace the pads. I need to reseat the pads on it. Maybe the GPU is overheating. I hear the fans on there. So there's all that sort of stuff. And this behind the scenes stuff, notes, is do I need to GPU Might as well just add it here. Diagnose GPU, and if pads are, if over, diagnose GPU. Throttling. Pads okay. Because this could in NDI problems. So just making notes of that as I'm trying to get that complication out of the way so I can remove the technical barriers on why I keep tripping over myself on this channel and why I can't just seem to engage in the content that I want to create, not for the views. It's because I enjoy doing it. And so if I'm not engaged, if there's anybody on chat, I doubt there is. I'm assuming there isn't. And yeah, there's no one there. See, I've been talking. Yeah, you're fake. I wish I could block. And yeah, so Kick's full of spam. I don't like Twitch because it's such a juggernaut, but Twitch is like X. Twitch is a juggernaut. If it was YouTube is like Facebook. As far as in the streaming stuff, YouTube is like Facebook. Twitch is like I don't know what I'm trying to say on that one. I'm trying to give Kick benefit of a doubt and accept its growth path more than Twitch. But Kick, come on, you just got all sorts of spam in here. So, but this is proof. No one's watching me. I'll get into this in a second. It's number one on the list. But I'm afraid that if I start going to do it, I'm going to get a copyright strike. So no one's chatting with me. No one's really engaged, and that's fine. But I want to set this up because I am curious to learn how to do this live stream in an engaging way, because I've watched Casey Neistat for I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest Batman fan, seriously. I'm not a big Casey Neistat fan. I haven't watched but probably 10 of his episodes ever. Maybe 15 to 20. I doubt I've ever watched 20 of his videos. But I know who he is, and I respect the grunginess, the scrappiness, the style of what he was trying to do. But I listened to him. I watch podcasts and whatever gets shoved down my I feel like Mythbusters. Jamie, what was his name? I feel like one of those podcasts, right? Just had a mental distraction there. I am a bit scattered in my thoughts, for sure. Just something just came to mind. Casey, he was, as I'm watching, as I am presented with videos through the algorithm of the YouTube, most of the YouTube, and I say that kind of through news and through news feeds, and sometimes you get the doom scroll of information there, but it's mostly through YouTube that I get fed the streamer content creator type of content. And it's kind of motivating or inspiring that especially being unemployed, if I was ever going to be a YouTube streamer, it would be while I'm unemployed. I've watched it. It's Jeppy and a bunch of other unemployed streamers, content creators. They're more content creators, and I don't get. That's what I don't get. I don't get the content creation. I get it, but I don't get the exclusivity of the content creation and why someone wouldn't majorly stream, because that's my kind of beef with Casey Neistat. In some of these interviews that he's had, he's like, oh my gosh, like YouTube was like all the barriers dropped. Like he even talks about in his I think it was Diary CEO, it might have been this other second one I haven't finished watching yet, where he's comparing himself to like the Kardashians and how artificial that is and how that post-production reality show that stuff is and how fake and contrived, and it's scripted. But Casey was like, I can just like, it can be like, but even his videography, his post-production, he goes out and films the footage and comes in, and that's exhausting. Like to me, it's almost like I hated the movie, but it was that scene in Lost in Space. Is that right? With the funny guy from Friends, whatever his name was, Joey, the actor, where he was like the macho butch guy. In there, one of the side characters, I mean, the boy, one of the children, I think it was the daughter. She was like this streamer, and even the Fifth Element, and where it's maybe not the Fifth Element so much. Rod DJ, whatever. Was it Chris Rock that was playing that? Well, I don't think it was Chris Rock. That's kind of racist. I know that actor's name. He reminds me of Chris Rock. But the barriers, if you are producing a video, then that's the barrier. Like this is authenticity. Me just talking live, standing here in my jammies, in my kitchen. This is no barriers. And this is what I want the behind the scenes to be. So is it making any sense? I wonder if I had a bar down there, if I had anyone chatting with me on the notification on the Neo, the Elgato Neo. So I think I'm gonna get a copyright strike. The reason why I think that is, if about a month ago I thought that I had through the ridiculous views that my F1 video got, and videos I like threw out of 12 20 F1 videos, liked the movie, was not complaining about the likes and subscribes and views on that. Like if I build something and the side effect is that people, if you build it and they come, I can't stand that word because it's just my dirty mind. But I thought I could, I'm using through the excitement or calamity or whatever of the F1 videos kind of going, I wouldn't say viral for sure, not at all, but being successful, getting 200,000+ views, like that was unexpected. I did not expect when I made these videos that that one would get over 200,000 views. And so that was kind of a taste and addiction. And so on that, kind of riding that wave where logic kind of gets thrown out the window, what else can I do to get that, to ride that wave? I thought, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna, that F1 was successful, right? I got 200,000+ views. I think I got, when you add them all up, I got over 500,000 something. I don't know, 300, 400,000 something views by the time you add up all those videos. what's another movie coming up? Tron Ares. And I was excited. I went to see it. Don't get me into that. Disappointed in the end for a few reasons, but I leaned into it, and I was gonna basically like kind of push this irrational. I'm gonna live stream Tron Ares, because the reality of I thought I could get away with it. I thought the algorithm would not know the movie, and the algorithm would I could take a camera into Tron Ares with this water bottle. Took it downstairs already. Be right back. It didn't take. Huh. Weird. That one didn't take. What was in the foreground? Something. Huh, it's not taking. Only if OBS is in the foreground is that taking. I'm pressing, that would be F4, F15. I got the hotkey to F15. So really only if OBS is in the foreground it's taking. Make a note of that. OBS, Stream Deck, not hotkeying. Only hotkeys only work if OBS is focused. OBS has focus. See, that's why I'm practicing here. The Stream Deck hotkeys only work if OBS has focus. That's kind of bad. So, be right back. This beast, this thing, it's just a water bottle, right? So, I thought that I could naively take, start small-ish, where I take this water bottle, and it's got a double-sided magnet, and I would take these. My phone case has a magnet on the back. It's not a big deal, like many of them have them. But I can basically, they make these water bottles with these magnets. They're advertised really weird. They're advertised so that, like, who is your audience for these water bottles with a phone holder on them? Okay. My thought was, as I was doing this, that I'm gonna record, I'm gonna live stream Tron Ares, and what I need, and I did this with the F1 video. I went and I recorded it. The F1 video that I took in IMAX. I had a tripod. I went in with a tripod. I'm not gonna pull that, but it was a fairly standard tripod. A little micro. You've seen them before, I'm sure. And I'm going to put it in the cup holder. So I show up in the movie theater, and I pull out the camera, and I put it in the cup holder, and I record it. But the things, that's my goal. I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to do that. I set it in the cup holder, and it teeters over. The cup's too wide. Which, we'll get into that in a second. So I learned from that F1 when I tried to record the IMAX. I'm recording the IMAX my F1 IMAX footage, I'm recording holding the video like the whole movie. It's 2.5 hour movie, and I'm holding it in place. I was able to, without bumping it too much, able to finally let go and get it to rest there. And I don't think it drifted too much. But if I'm going to live stream, I'm going to improve that setup. And so I kind of guessed that the cup holders are going to be kind of large sized for the obese, gluttonous Americans that we are. And so the cup holder is large because it was from the tripod. So I thought, well, I should get a better tripod. I wonder if they make tripods that fit in cup holders. And if not, I would 3D print it. And so I started thinking about that. And then I thought, well, what's the simplest? Duh, there's a simple solution. What if they just made a cup that fits in the cup holder that is a tripod? And they do make them. So at that point, this made sense. Have you ever wanted to basically do this? Have you ever wanted to, while you're out walking around socializing, doing your things, doing your running, stretching, exercise activities, at a picnic, whatever, you carry a water bottle often. Have you ever wanted to do this? So this made perfect sense to me, but the problem is they were all this way. They're all like the magnet. They all had the magnet facing outside. They're all one-sided magnets. This is the only one out there that I ever found that's a dual-sided magnet. And so by being dual-sided, I can do like who's the audience of this? There's a picture of someone sitting, like it's all photoshopped. Someone sitting in an airplane seat, like on the airplane with this first class, obviously, of course, or business class. And they're sitting there with their water bottle and they're watching a movie, right? Like that. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. When, like, who's going to do that? Because it's like this. Like, they were facing them or something. I don't know what, I don't remember what, like, I'd have to go look at the picture. It didn't make any sense at all of them. And this was the only one out there that I found that had where you can do it this way, because this is the side. If you do it this way, here's the problem. I remember the problem. If I were to flip the camera, yeah, this is the front camera. This is the camera that's facing you. I don't want to use this camera when recording IMAX. I want to use the rear camera. So here's the audience that they're selling to is the narcissistic people that need to see themselves as they're talking. And that's fine if you're video conferencing. If you're doing the engagement stuff, and it's probably less narcissistic, it's more like just reality. But like, there's a lot of ignorance on the cameras, and that this front camera is very low quality. If you're going to record high quality video, you're going to use the rear camera. Well, the problem is you can do that, but look what happens when you use the rear camera now, the rear facing camera. Let's see, where is it? This one's not good. There we go. What is that? Oh, wait a minute. I can actually even turn this on. Oh, weird. It didn't flip. That's not showing what I'm showing. Is it right off the edge? Resize. Did the image resize? The image resized, I think. If I reset this transform reset, it's gonna get big. There we go. And then I want I wanted to go this way. I don't want to point that way. That was really weird when I was looking at it that way. I was surprised that it was defaulting to the front. It was on the front facing camera because that's what I was doing when I was gaming. Okay. But if you can see right here, there's no way that I'm going to record a movie when this nubbin is in the way. You can't I can't steal content with the nubbin in the way. Okay, well I'll just collapse this. You can still see it. It's still there in the picture. I'd have to go way up here. But the thing is, the design of this one's not a good example. I bought a whole bunch of I bought 20 of these bottles and I tried them all. And the way they were all designed, the just subtle difference in variations in where this magnet is located, you could always see, if you use the rear-facing camera, you could always see in the video a hint of the bottle. It was always there. It's not really visible. You can still see a hint right there. Especially if you want it level. If you're in a movie theater, you're probably going to want it more on the level side. You're probably not going to necessarily be facing up. You really don't want that kind of field of vision frustrum. You want to be level, and I can still see it. This one is not a good example because this one's barely off screen. I'd almost let that one slide. But the others were not this far back, and you would just see a big evidence of that it's on a water bottle. Very annoying and frustrating. Probably good for general use, but not good when you're actually wanting to just rip off and steal content. So this is a double-sided magnet, and this allows me to put the camera like this, and now there is nothing in the way. It is like by design. There's no obstacle in the way. So I had been working on this to go in and live stream Tron Ares is what I was going to do with Blackmagic. I'd set up the Blackmagic camera, can RTMP, and I was going to Blackmagic, fucking awesome camera app. The Blackmagic camera app is fantastic. And I was going to live stream with it. Fucking fantastic camera application that can RTMP stream to a YouTube address. The movie theater has Wi-Fi. Oh, here's a problem. Maybe the movie theater's Wi-Fi isn't strong enough. Maybe they block YouTube streaming. So I go to YouTube, sorry. Train of thought here. Maybe they block YouTube stream. So I go to the movie theater. I make a trip to the movie theater, do a test of the Blackmagic camera. Turn this off. Wrong button. That's probably fine if I do that in the background. Yeah, that's not too crazy. That's fine. It'd be pretty rare if I were to switch camera. Let me turn this back on, and I switch camera to that. It resizes. So, okay. If I'm front camera, then it's one size. If I'm, is there a way to force that to not resize? I'll have to look into that. Can I force? I can note lower priority. Can I force NDI HX camera capture to be 1? I know that I can change the resolution, but I want high res. I want OBS. Can I force OBS to resize front NDI HX camera to be the same as rear. All right, so back to rear, which is what I would be doing, and then turn you off. So I go to the movie theater, and it's a good one. IMAX is really weird. I learned not to get suckered by IMAX. There's some really bad IMAX theaters where the screen is just like not very big, and that's the one that I had gone to, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is not like the Boeing Air and Space Museum, or actually, sorry, it's the Pacific Science Center that's sponsored by Boeing in Seattle. That is like this huge, like that's IMAX, like pinnacle 5 gold star standard. I don't know how they rate them, but that's like the pinnacle IMAX size. There's many of them around the world, but that's one of them is here. And then there's other movie theaters, they'll set up IMAX, but it's not the same IMAX. They're a lot smaller. You walk in there and just like, this is not the Pacific Science Center. And I did that, and I went in there, and for F1, I found one that was decent out in Issaquah. I went all the way out to Issaquah to a decent IMAX theater. It was like 2/3 the size of the Boeing Air and Space Museum, Pacific Science Center. But for Tron, Ares, I've learned, and I'm going to go to the Bellevue Cinemark, where it's like 3/4 the size. So like, yeah, and it was, and I show up and it is. But before the movie day, there's like a website that shows these IMAX resolution sizes. I'm not gonna pull it up. I'm watching the lapel mic charge, and if it gets all the way up to the next dot. So I'm in the lobby of the movie theater outside the ticket entrance on their Wi-Fi, and I connect to their Wi-Fi and I start a live stream test. It's a test live stream. So I'm using the Blackmagic camera app to live stream. I'm only pausing because I'm wondering how I got onto this track. I'm sure when I look back on it, it'll all make sense, right? Let me finish my story. So I'm on the track, I'm pot committed. So I'm in the theater lobby, pre-ticket entrance, and I'm trying to be inconspicuous where I'm live streaming the Blackmagic camera application, RTMP over their Wi-Fi to YouTube, and it works. Awesome. And I'm done, and I get home and I see that I have a copyright strike because during that, oh yeah, because I think I'm about to get into trouble with what I'm about ready to show with Casey Neistat. That's why I'm telling the story. Mariah Carey, Muzak. There was Muzak playing, or Mariah Carey was singing a song or something like that. And because that song was playing while I was doing this 30-second, 60-second live stream, Mariah Carey was playing. Boom, copyright strike. You're not allowed to live stream copyrighted material. And I'm like, oh, that's what that means. I knew that. So I know that I'm naively thinking I'm going to live stream Tron Ares. Like, if anything went viral, as in, that would be one way to go viral, is to do that, would be to live stream a movie. To just how ridiculous, how stupid that is. But if you can get away with it, I think that would be a cool blow up. So that's what I was trying to lean into the absurdity and get away with it and see how it could spontaneously just wow, like fuck the system. If I got in trouble for it, fuck it. I don't care. that was my whole attitude on I'm gonna do this. And if anybody ever saw my attempt to do that and thought that I'm a fucking idiot, they're right. And I didn't care because I was gonna try to do it anyway. I was gonna try to pirate it. But I caught the copyright strike. I think meanwhile I had set up a live stream as a countdown where I put in a playlist where I was playing a playlist of all these Tron footage, Tron Ares footage from Disney, and I was looping them as a playlist and just letting them play out, and then I put a countdown on top of it and my logo and that sort of stuff. Came home to see actually 2 copyright strikes. One, that 1 minute attempt, I think I had set it as private. I think it was a private key. I didn't go public with it, but I got a private copyright strike on that in the movie theater lobby attempt. I was like, well, shit. And then second, I got a copyright strike for my live stream countdown because I was live streaming other people's content. I'm like, oh, well, you can't do that either. So now I know, I learned that they're really serious about this. And I do have a strike. I don't have a strike. That was the one-time exception. If I were to do this, but I'm gonna do this under the guise, and if I get caught on this, I'm gonna show that I'm editing this video. This is a tutorial video of me editing this video. So this is me showing how to do this. But I want to, and that's how I'm going to get away with this. But this Casey Neistat video that I'm about ready to show, I can even just toggle over there. Should I monitor on this? The camera's not doing any good, so I could basically swipe away and monitor. How does the YouTube Studio show my live stream right now? It doesn't rotate. It does rotate. Does it show that I'm live streaming and my content that it doesn't show that I'm live right now? Yeah, not YouTube Studio. I've seen if YouTube Studio had that. YouTube itself would. And if I close that, and who am I logged in as? Me on my content. My videos, show my live. This is me live. No, it's weird. It's not showing me live, but I know I'm live. Why does it keep doing that? That's always the tab. I thought it was because of, yeah, let me just go to profiles. I'm live. I'm an hour into this stream. I noticed that it said, my video yesterday, I was looking at it, watching. This one. It says live chat replay is not available for this video. But I had, like, that's this tab right here. So it's going to be the first YouTube tab. This is just, yeah, that's the edit. But I have on here, this is what I don't understand. Frustrating, because it's made by humans. Live chat replay, right there, checkbox. It doesn't get any more clear than that. I have seen this not get checked. But, and that was the from yesterday, shiver. But now it says live chat replay is not enabled for this video. And the bitch of it is, I don't even have transcript. So I've been going through here. What is my count? I'm at 3 hours. I'm reviewing this, mostly for audio reasons. 3 hours and 7. Yeah. At least maybe I can jump forward. 3 hours and 7 minutes. Fine. That's about right here. The bitch of it is, there it is. I didn't have this transcript. I should have shown you before I refreshed. Now I've got transcripts, but I still don't have live chat replay. So at least I have transcripts. So I couldn't find the place in the video where I was talking about something that I had timestamped something at about 2 hours, 50 minutes. So at least I can now pull up transcript. And there's a couple ways you can summarize your videos. You can copy and paste the transcript. You can't really export it. There's probably a plugin that lets you grab the transcript. If you know how to hack, you can grab it pretty easy. You can also just literally like copy and paste. Move your mouse and grab the whole thing. And then you can paste that and summarize it and that sort of stuff. I wanted to go do the Casey Neistat thing before I get into technical stuff. And I got some chores. I have a list of chores to work on. So this Casey Neistat, this is me editing a short that I might put out there if I'm allowed to even risk the copyright strike of that. And I wanted to, as I'm doing that, pull up YouTube stream. It's not pulling up the YouTube stream. If I switch accounts to me, personal, can I see that I am live? So, but I want to do this as me, not as me. I want to go back to, can I cast my screen showing to NDI? I have a cable here. I could cable capture what I'm looking at. And I know you can Chromecast, and that would be pretty cool to be able to Chromecast what I'm looking at on the phone. I'm cabled. I could do the cable capture. I'm not gonna. It's something to look into. I'll make a note of it. I'll make a note. Off stream. NDI or cable capture pixel screen. I might even write an app to do it. I'm unemployed. Why not? Why not just write apps and keep practice? I don't want me. I do want night versus night. I do want to see my live. I want to see my channel as if no. Don't start playing that. That looks like something I might actually want to watch later, but save to watch later. Go to my channel. View channel. There's me live. Okay, now I can do the chat and I can see the chat, and this is what I wanted. To monitor what I'm showing here. So, an hour in, hour and 4 minutes in, this is the video. And again, I hope I don't get a copyright strike for this. And I want to know if it's streaming out, and I hope there's not any echoes. So I might turn this volume. You're going to hear like a 10 and 8 second delay in audio. over the microphone that hopefully should be less. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I can hear it. And I'm curious if it mutes the mic. So I'm going to see if I mute the mic, if it keeps playing that. So I'm going to mute my own mic and see if the sound quality is coming through okay. So this is me editing, and I'm going to convert this into a short. So this is an educational video for anybody who's going to copyright strike me. This is an educational video on how to edit a segment into a short. So here we go. I'm going to mute while I play. This is what it is in its original. And then we're going to short this. We're going to now convert this down to a short. All right. I'm going to mute my mic during the original so that you just get the original audio. And just so that it's completely clear and obvious. How do I collapse? Yeah, you can hear that in the background. That's why I'm going to mute my microphone. This splitter here is like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to grab. And then this, I don't need you, but I can't resize you any less. And I can make you a little larger. So, Diary of a CEO, this was inspirational to me, and I wanted to use this as an example of how to convert this inspirational 2-minute segment into a short. So here it is in its entirety, muting my microphone while I play this. No copyright strike, please. Is my mic muted? I heard it blip. I don't think it is. This is the hotkey thing. Yeah, so it's not because OBS has to be in the foreground. It's confused. So I have to basically hotkeys. I think there's a setting for anyway. I'm gonna mute my mic, switch over, and do the view, and then we'll come back with my mic open and edit it down.
"19-year-old Casey when he first arrived into New York City. What is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get?" And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there, the 90s.
That's tough. I think that, like, nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that
Yeah, the audio. I had to pause that and listen to the audio, and that's what I was afraid. There is an echo in here. So hopefully I didn't get a copyright strike on that failed attempt. The audio. I paused that and listen to the audio, and that's what I was afraid. So I was trying the laptop audio capture. I'm trying this laptop audio capture, and I think this is the cause of my problem. If I turn this off and replace it with my mic's working, the lapel mic should be charged by now. Distractions, getting a stream up and running. Test 1, 2. Lapel mic is muted. Lapel mic is not muted, and there is now an echo, but competing with this mic and the laptop mic. So I will be muting the laptop mic. So now the laptop mic is muted, but now I have to adjust all of my setup and scenes and advanced scene switcher and rules. But at least I've got it bound to mic on, mic off. And this is unmute the laptop mic. I could add in unmute the lapel mic. And I could say mute the lapel mic. And I think the audio quality on this lapel mic is going to be more at a minimum, it's more consistent. If I walk further away from the microphone, there is no walking further away from the microphone. So I think it's a decent quality. It's not like it's a Rode or anything. I think I paid 20 or 30 bucks for it. It's a Faux-Tree. Maybe Faux-Tree wants to brand sponsor me or something. I don't know. Here I turn off the mic there. And I want to turn on the lapel mic. Now, if anybody's watching at home, they're going to realize the problem here. I want to prefer the lapel mic over that. Oh, that was weird. But almost like if it was disabled, or if I could memorize a script and assign a variable if it was in. That'd be pretty cool. Redact on, redact off. So I've got these in. So now if I'm going to use the lapel mic, then I basically want to turn off the rule for the laptop mic. And I basically just want to restrict everything to a lapel mic. And then I have to remember that that's what I'm not going to do when I push this button and I fix the hotkey problem later on, which I think is just a setting inside of hotkeys, advanced hotkeys. Hotkeys never, it says never disable hotkeys. So that's where I don't understand why the hotkeys aren't working. It says never disable the hotkeys. So if I, could it be that Final Cut or something is taking over? Again, this is the tab. This is the tab that it brings up every fucking time. That tab is not at the top of the list. Before it was, I thought it was because of my IP addresses. In fact, I'm so annoyed by this. I had a reason for wanting this up. I'm so annoyed by this. Fuck it, I'm closing that. Hopefully it never again. So now, now what tab is it going to bring up? Of course, I don't want that either. Like, what is the algorithm of this tab? Like, I don't want that. Why would you be the tab that it brings up? This tab has nothing to do with why I want to bring to the foreground. How about I just do it the hard way here? If I bring up this and then I try to mute, what happens? It blipped, so it still didn't mute. I'll have to look into, I have a note on why it is. I'm not going to deal with it. The Stream Deck hotkeys only work if OBS has focus. That doesn't make any sense, even though that setting is there. All right. So now the audio capture, I've turned off laptop audio capture. This is what I was using before, audio output capture, but it's deprecated. Why is it, why is it still here? If it's deprecated, why is it still here? Probably because it's not working. The replacement, the audio capture isn't working. The only thing you can do with audio capture, because that's what this is, you can do desktop or application. I don't want either desktop or application. I want a specific endpoint. I want to capture a specific endpoint. And I think that's causing some of the echo, what I was seeing on the audio player. So I'm going to use the deprecated audio output capture. And that's going to be audio output capture. I think but it's still system is what it is, but it's going to be whatever I send out to the default. And default down mixing. So yeah, because I don't have any of my other things turned on. That list is shorter than I would expect, but whatever. So audio output capture default should be at the top. Bring you down. Bring you down. I have this theory that OBS walks from the bottom up. It writes the lowest layer one first, and then the next layer on top of that, and it tiles and mosaics, whatever, layers, puts those things on a Z layer, and it does the bottom one first, and the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. So the very top one is literally the last one drawn. So audio, being the highest priority, should be at the bottom. So I try to put all my audio at the bottom. Let's say earbud mic is least priority, and I could switch over to my SteelSeries headset that I have. The lapel mic's going to be the highest priority. Default. So now the theory is if I play this audio, you're going to hear it. So again, let's do take number 2. I'm going to leave my mic on. Now let me do it again the same way. I'm going to mute my mic, switch over, and start playing. So no copyright strike, please, on me previewing what I'm getting ready to edit into a short. Thank you very much. Muting the mic now and then playing the content. I can do it this way. I don't have to mute it that way. Since I have a lapel, I can mute it here. And I'm going to mute it once I'm confident that it's playing sound okay. So, Final Cut. Go back to the original. So, no copyright strike, please. I'm going to mute this and monitor that the audio sounds good. Once I'm certain that the audio is good, I may come off mic. I don't think that's going to introduce a bad echo. It's going to be a real short echo. And I think built-in echo cancellation that pretty much has to exist will take care of that. We'll see. And I will look into this. We're an hour and 18 minutes into the stream. Hour and 19 minutes into the stream. All right. I will mute and play and then unmute once I'm comfortable with the quality. Interesting. It's like not capturing. Why is it not capturing? All right, let me just monitor its level then. Interesting. I'll pull you down. And my monitor is not working. Like normally my audio monitor is not outputting. Maybe there's some... Test 1, 2. I should hear my voice. I am outputting. Weird. I'm not sure what... I should know what that... I should know what... I shouldn't know it because I wrote it. I'm saying I should be made aware of... I should learn what this is. But I don't know why. I can see my levels. I can see... Oh, maybe... Oh, my lapel mic. I may not have set on monitor out. Yeah. Lapel mic's off. Monitor and output. Hello. Monitor and output. Maybe I need to reboot. I don't know. I do not know why monitor and output is not working. I also now do not know why system audio capture is not working. Your default. Like, why is it not showing on MacBook speakers? I am using the sound source. That's fine. Sound source is detected. Another process capturing audio. This may result in doubled audio. To avoid issues, temporarily deactivating sound sources processing is recommended. Disabling sound source. This will be the first time I'm aware there's a conflict between sound source and OBS. I'm gonna try it. Turning off sound source processing. Or deactivate. There. Now I have the monitor. Interesting. Okay. That's my echo. I hear it. I can hear the monitor. I can hear the monitor now. I never knew. Okay, that changes things. So now if I close this and reopen that, why don't I have audio output of the default? And now what happens if I resize you and play you?
Inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that
that's coming over the microphone. Why is it not capturing? I don't want to capture individual applications. So if I turn you off and turn you on, laptop audio capture is capturing everything. And I play you.
Especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, or a musician, or as an artist or a painter, or any of those things, like, you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think.
The lapel mic. Was I muted that whole time? That's one of the problems with not having the status. I've been talking this whole time on mute. When I touch this button, I don't have visual indication. Clearly not a professional. So I was talking to myself that I've been using sound source here. You're probably hearing a small echo. That there's this triangle on sound source. and it had a dialog here. As soon as I say reactivate processing, OBS monitor is going to stop. So right now there is a small echo. I can hear OBS monitor is working, and if I say tell sound source to reactivate processing, then the monitor goes away. So now I can't hear the monitor, and that's the source of it. Deactivate processing. Now I can hear, and at least I can do that on the fly and I don't have to restart any process. So that's why I couldn't monitor my audio, and now that helps me determine whether something is or isn't playing. And so now I can see, and I'm going to mute this, and you can see the laptop audio capture is working. But now I don't know why the audio output capture, which is disabled, so it's not showing. I could just mute you instead. So now it's working. Okay. So third time's a charm, right? I think that actually worked. And I will let this go again. All right. I'm going to mute my mic while we're playing through this. Third time is a charm. So this is an educational video showing how to edit down an inspirational section into video short. And let me get this down here. All right, and I'll mute my mic.
19-year-old Casey when he first arrived into New York City. What is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get? And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Fuck, that's tough. I think that like nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, or as a musician, or as an artist or a painter, any of those things, like, you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of like, how are people going to react to this and what's the best
That's
way
working.
to do
I'm
it?
turning off the
I
mic
was
so
so
that
aware.
I can hear the echo,
And
and I
the
wonder
reality is
how much
nobody gives a
echo is showing through
shit.
here.
Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like, you're totally free. Like, do exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being an original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be the original. But the moment you accept the fact that nobody cares, do your thing, nobody cares. And then you start to go down that path, you will just get better and better and better.
So that was inspirational to me. And again, hopefully there's no copyright strike here in playing that segment. I can turn the monitor off. I will turn the monitor off. Now that I know that the monitor is caused by sound source. Thought I had a note on. I'll go into settings and I'll turn the monitor off. That's just the device, not the actual on-off of it. The actual on-off of it is in this. And really, you have to turn them all on and off. This seems kind of, it's got to be a way to bulk change that. Okay. Is my mic muted? No, I came off mic. Okay. So I'm gonna convert this into a short, which is duplicating as short. And I want to change the resolution to vertical. And okay, 26 by 30. That's a lot. It's 4K. I wonder if they can, I'm curious if you can do a 4K vertical. What is the YouTube short? YouTube short resolutions. 1080 by 1920. How about we just frame rate, color space, container, frame rate, bitrate, resolution. Shorts, upload videos, shorts. Upload YouTube videos, record and upload a video. Where's shorts? Come on, like, did they change shorts? Come on. YouTube shorts. Why are things difficult? Create YouTube shorts. You can upload shorts with a maximum resolution of 1080p. Okay. So I find that a little odd, but I give YouTube some credit for at least supporting 4K. Twitch doesn't even do 4K. So 1080. Analyze clips for faces, reframes, whose aspect ratio is different from the project's aspect ratio. If I did, what is a good short? I think I already had search. So this chain, duplicate this. Is there a keystroke to duplicate? Um, 1080 by 1920. 1080 by 1920. But they say you can only do 1080p. But they're talking 1080p horizontal, which is weird. And that 1080 by 1920, okay, it's almost twice as long. $1080 by 1920. All right. We do 1080 by 1920. This is 1920 by 1080. If I want to go vertical, there you go. It was there in the list. I wonder if I could do it in that and then export it in. Let's do it in this. That's twice. Let's do it. Let's not lose the resolution while editing. And that doesn't look vertical to me. I duplicated, but didn't. This splitter ear is so annoying. So this is the short. So there we go. So on this, I want to zoom in. And so transform zoom opacity scale X scale Y. Yeah, scale all. I don't want to go so wide. I do kind of want to get, but I might as well just do the whole thing. And I wonder how much it fits as far as zoom in a little. But how do I how do I scroll up is how I'm using 3 fingers, I'm using 4 fingers. I guess it go up there. I'm right near the edge. I think I want 315. 315 gives me that. 316 gives me that. All right. And then zoom back out to fit. So now on this.
19-year-old Casey, when he first arrived into New York City, what is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get? And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Now here, I want to split that.
He just didn't get. And I'm
split. Now here, I need to move transform. Can I position you? There's no slider on the position. How about I just guess? 1,000. 2,000. Oops. No. Nope. Wrong. What did I just do? You. What is it? Scale. Oh, because it's selected. I only want to select you. They're the only one I want to select. Come on, I want to see you. 2,000. All because I missed a 0. Here we go. 2,500. Too much. 2,200. 2,250. Okay.
Point that he just didn't get. And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Fuck, that's tough.
I thought it would apply. Oh, because there was a cut there anyway. He did a. I already had a cut there, so if I can copy that effect. 316. 316.
That's tough.
So now I need to scale this where they. cut there, and then here, transform U by, what was that, 2250 I had? This one's totally different, maybe 1,000. 800. 850. 900. 950. That's really close to what it was. Yeah, that gets some. I could zoom out a little. I could say 300, but that's going to put the black bar up top, which I don't want to do that. Okay, let's see how that goes.
He just didn't get. And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 90.
Fuck, that's tough. I think that, like, nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, as a musician or as an artist or a painter, any of those things, like, you think that everybody's paying attention.
I'm going to pause this. I don't mind like showing a final result at the end. But I think your audio level is really low. So I'm going to add a filter to boost you, basically. I don't need the noise suppress. Let's do a compressor boost. And we're going to gain you 10 decibels. So that you actually sound. It's competing. If I want you to, if I want the audience, the viewer, to see it at full volume, when I mute the mic, then I can play the laptop audio capture at full volume. So, but that'll never be true. Else, if I can't do conditional ifs, I don't think I can do conditional ifs. If inside of an if. I know you can do other macros. I can do a nested macro. Trying to wrap my head around that, but that's another if. Remove you. Laptop audio capture. Full if mic muted. So this is if the audio the laptop mic or the lapel mic, but if it's muted, So that's still evaluating true. It's not really the audio. It's going to be if a source is muted or not. If source lapel mic is active, then restore audio of laptop audio capture to -12. Else, set, I can make it a variable too. I could do it that way. Go back into here, make it a variable. Laptop audio save variable value set to value. That's if it's starting off. But I want to set it. I could, yeah, move you up. Then set the variable to -12. Else variable set to value 0. So if perform only when condition changes. If the lapel mic is active, then set that to 12. If that, then set that to 0. And otherwise, so then on the restore, we're going to set you to a variable. But I want to set you to a variable. I should be able to set you to a variable. Yeah, right there. That's a bug. There was no variable, so that's a bug. Delete, yeah. Yeah. on the restore, it has no value, so it's evaluating 0. I have an idea what to do here. Let's save the value. If I want to start it at -12, it would assume, okay. And so if I didn't use this mute, if I used this mute, but the variable doesn't change, so I need to change you to be if the variable changes. Or a variable value changed. So now, if I mute, wait a second, that setting happens even if I'm muted? Oh, well, I'm learning something, even if I'm muted. Yeah, I'm talking on a muted thing, so it has to be muted. If the audio is not muted in the first place. If the source, I wonder if I could combine those two then. The audio levels of weird. The source of lapel mic laptop mic lapel mic or the value changed. Okay. I think I could simplify this maybe a little, but Now if I mute the lapel mic, it's not muting. Why? Oh, it's not actually disabling. It's just muting. So how do I test for if it's muted? Oh, I don't want the output volume. If the configured audio balance, like I want to know the mute. Like it lets me mute. I can say audio mute, but it doesn't let me query that it is muted. Mute, unmute. It doesn't let me actually query the mute, unmute. So instead of doing that, maybe I need to say source disable laptop mic. This was the lapel mic. Let's go in order. Let's change these. And this will be source disable lapel mic. It's fine if I turn them both off. It's the on that I want to make sure that I disable. So let's say you're the source. Enable lapel mic. And your source enable laptop mic disabled. And same with you. Source disable lapel mic. Source disable laptop mic. It doesn't really matter if I turn you off. That's fine. It's you that matters. Whether I say source. I had that backwards. This is turning on the be right back will disable the lapel mic. Source disable laptop mic. You do matter on you. I want to enable. All right. Mic on, enable, lapel mic. Don't do that. Mic off. It doesn't matter whether you disable or not. The deck on or off, those don't matter. So that's correct. Disable, enable. This is flipped. This is when I turn it off, I turn off the be right back. I want to enable the mics and mics. I turn be right back on. I want to disable the mic and the mic. It doesn't matter which one it is. This one is the audio ducking itself. And I could say if source select source lapel mic is active. So now if I deactivate you, but not just mute, so if I Test 1, 2. Okay, there we go. This is the warning that they had. In this, and there's once you set the disable of it, OBS can't show that, and so I had called that hotkey to disable that, and now there's no way in OBS to do it other than to re-automate it back to doing it. So now that that's working, but I probably did that to the lapel mic too. When I do on, let me do this source one more time. I probably have to fix this one for enable the laptop mic. I have to cycle this once. Enable you and enable you. Laptop and lapel mic, small echo, turning off laptop mic. Okay. Interesting, the lapel mic shows up as stereo. Anyway, if it says stereo, that's fine. I thought this might be a checkbox. So the audio ducking, if the mic is exciting the thing, but if I mute the mic, so that could be my indicator that I'm going to go into special mode. All this stuff for the past 15 plus minutes was me going into a special mode that if I want to have the viewer see the audience, and plus I learned that the level stuff monitors the level even when the mic is muted. So I have to keep track of that on the main game stream. But now, if I mute the mic and play something, then it's going to go to 100%. So if I mute the mic, I need to fix that setting back to mic on is now not the source enable. It's now the scene item visibility. Any scene, show, lapel, any scene, show, laptop. But I don't want to do that if I'm using that. Current scene, show. Turn off that. Okay. Now let's try it one more time. Muting. It did a double pump on the slider. If you notice this, when I go mute, it's going to creep up and then creep up a second time. I'm not sure why. But that's kind of, if I can't automate that, it's not a big deal. All right, back to where we were with you. I'm going to watch those levels. Now that we made it a video short, I'm further closer in here. So where were we on this? Now if I mute my speaker, if I mute my mic through the Neo, then that's going to go into a special mode where you'll hear the audio full, and plus I've added a filter to boost its gain. So you should hear it a lot better. So let's start from the beginning again. And I'm going to mute while I play this. Can't. Haha, I can't while it's not in the foreground. I got to fix that. So I'm going to mute and tab over.
19-year-old Casey when he first arrived into New York City. What is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get? And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Fuck, that's tough. I think that like nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist.
Okay, I don't need that filter. The problem was not that I needed to add gain. The problem was the automation. So I can come to your filter and not boost you. It's going to be, it is what it is. There's no reason for me to boost that. I do want to limit it so that if it's loud, I don't blow your eardrums out. So let's try that again. I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna mute my mic, tab over, and hit play.
19-year-old Casey when he first arrived into New York City. What is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get? And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Fuck, that's tough. I think that like nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, or as a musician, or as an artist or a painter, or any of those things, like you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of like, how are people going to react to this? And what's the best way to do, like, I was so aware. And the reality is nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like, you're totally free. Like, do exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being an original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be the original. But the moment you accept the fact that nobody cares.
All right, there's another break. I'm making what I feel decent progress here. There's a break right here. I'll blade that. And then on this little segment here, we got to find the
And
end.
you start to go down that path, you will just get better and better and better. Then you sprinkle on that patience.
There we go. It's a break. Blade that.
Better and better. Then you sprinkle on that patience I was talking about. You just keep going. You keep going. And eventually, like, that persistence will just smash into like opportunity. What is it? Preparation will smash into opportunity. Persistence will smash into opportunity. And like your moment of explosion, your detonation will happen. That was verbose, but you asked a big question.
Okay. And then we just need to resize this part. And we'll shift it over. What would I have, like what I have before over on you?
Nobody cares about
950. I'd go 980 and 90. 1000. I go 1000.
The moment you accept the fact that nobody cares, do your thing. Nobody cares.
Nah, let's do the 950. It's just the way he's suited for that frame.
Nobody cares. accept the fact that nobody cares. Do your thing. Nobody cares. And then you start to go down that path. You will just get better and better and better. Then you sprinkle on that patience I was talking about. You just keep going.
Okay. And then finally, the logo. We don't need to right. That one's good because that one's original. When I tag that on, it brings it over 2 minutes, and shorts need to be under 2 minutes. So I should, let me double check that. Time limit. In that video, I think the time. Time. Nope, they don't mention. Up to 3 minutes. Allows you to record one or more clips. Creating short with using short form video creation tools allows you to create for a while. If your short is longer than 1 minute, you won't be able to use the audio picker to add sound. That's because shorts over 1 minute with copyrighted music will be blocked on YouTube. And that's where this arbitrary weird rules about if you're streaming, you can or can't do this thing. You can record copyrighted music, but Twitch won't let you do this. So you have to basically, there's so many of these weird arbitrary rules that people come up with. So it says 2 minutes. If it's over it says 3 minutes. Shorts over 1 minute with copyrighted music will be blocked on YouTube. I don't know if this copyrighted, if I'm stealing from Diary of a CEO, and if I'm allowed 2 minutes and to have that bumper. I've already lowered the gain. I get a lot of complaints about the gain. I promise I did not boost the gain on this bumper here. I did not. The unaltered version of that is not me boosting the audio level. It is literally Ice-T, body counts, just it's heavy metal rock and roll, but it's the end of a song and you're already used to the sound. So it's still abrupt. I get that it's abrupt, but I'm not boosting it to be an annoyance. I do tend to lower it, and especially as a kind of a quiet thing. If it's quiet, I almost always intentionally set that level to be -10 decibels or full. And this, do I want to?
But you asked a big question.
That's copyrighted music right there. But the artist allows it. So let's see what happens. I'm tempted to do that. And now if I export this, so we're done. That's it. I was making another video. I'm essentially, I get that I'm essentially stealing from Diary of a CEO at this point. It's arguable. In its simplest view, I'm stealing. In its free use sense, I'm educating, I'm satirizing, I'm critiquing. It's fair use, and I'm showing how to edit this. So I could put from Diary of a CEO on here as if I put it on the actual video, it doesn't really do any good. It needs to be metadata in a text that's clickable and linkable. I kind of wanted to put something at the beginning of this, but the fact that this thing came out to, I thought shorts were limited to 2 minutes. The fact that it came out to 150, yeah, I cut it down. It's 156. There was something I cut out that was like 157, 158. It was like right on the edge, and I did a little cut. Oh, it was the very beginning where Steven is like laughing and mumbling and then turns and takes a deep breath and says, so my question really was to you, and then I cut it there. And then I start at Casey is a 19-year-old entering New York. So I saved myself a couple seconds there. I like it. I can try to export this, and I can try to send a 4K short up and see what the hell they think. That's large. I wonder if they allow. So let's see that. NvK, advice, nobody cares about you. And I could also export a 1080. Yeah, so let's just do that at 1080. And then we'll see on I had you, I had you. Don't really want you create. We'll see what it's not done yet, so it's still exporting to. All right, I'm getting a little headache. I got a lunch. So that video, we watched it in its entirety, did we? I'm a little nervous about the copyright strike. Let's look at the final product, people. Yeah, educational purposes. This is the 4K version. Let's see what happens when I mute my mic. Nope, can't do that. I gotta put OBS in the foreground. Not quite sure why that happens. I'm gonna mute the mic and then do it.
19-year-old Casey when he first arrived into New York City. What is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get? And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Fuck, that's tough. I think that, like, nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, or as a musician or as an artist or a painter, or any of those things, like, you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of, like, how are people going to react to this and what's the best way to do, like, I was so aware. And the reality is nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like, you're totally free. Like, do exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being.
So that's kind of the fact of the matter and the point. It's like, I mean, I'm unemployed. I feel like and this is the philosophical part of the stream. And the reason for this and the reason why it's number one here and what's going through my mind. I'm unemployed. I've got savings. I'm also heating food. Sorry for, hopefully the background noise. Yeah, it's not registering, so you can't hear it. This doesn't get much more freeing than standing here in your pajamas, in a Batman pajamas. Like, this is pretty freeing. And I'm enjoying being unemployed. And if I'm going to ever make progress on this channel and take it seriously, now would be the time and the moment that I do that.
It's when I had a job, I never had time to focus on this. And it took me about 9-10 months to kind of take this seriously and realize this. That I can stop my pity party. I was dark, and I still am dark. I still... You can probably hear those beeps. I'm still pretty dark. Really dark. I'm Batman dark, okay? I mean, I'm Batman, so I'm dark. But sorry for the bump in the mic. I've watched Jamie, what's his name from the... I do like his. Let's do the upload of the... You want to try the 4K one? I'm curious what happens. Let's see what happens. Well, and while that's happening, what's his name? Test bench Jamie. Who was the guy from... Oh, Mythbusters. It's Adam. Yeah, Adam Savage is tested. So watching this guy, in fact, I should just subscribe to him on this. I don't mind. He has his little... I'm not at all to his level of success. I mean, for sure. I mean, no doubt about it. Can't even compare myself to his level of success. But I'm been in the software industry for 27 years, and I've saved some money. I'm not broke. I'm not financially poor. I currently, at this moment, I'm not over leveraged. I have quite a bit in savings. I can last for a couple of years. I don't want to. I'm gonna kill my savings. And I gotta eat. Sorry, because I'm getting lightheaded again. Second day in a row. It could be the not drinking water and that sort of shit. But I feel like Adam Savage. I keep calling him Jamie. Jamie was the other guy. Need some water. Be right back. So I'm at that stage. I'm at a stage in my life. The other part of the video, I thought about editing this, and I double check I don't have a copyright strike. And make sure that I'm still going live. Nothing's cut me yet. Okay. There's another video on Dire CEO. The indulgence thing. And I can play this for you. We'll see how long this copyright strike avoidance continues to go. I think if you get a strike, you can cut that section out. So, and then appeal. I kind of want to learn that process. Some water. My wife's also given me a list of shit to do, which includes the recycle, the compost, this is my job nowadays. Socks in the basement, breakfast put away, dishes loaded. I'll get there. Is it 3? Whoa. Grabbing socks. Hey, let me try. I'll be right back. And I think it's going to blip on me. Yeah, it does. Let me, thought this worked yesterday. I was pretty certain. Maybe it was only when I had this in the foreground. So I'll be right back. So I'm trying to wrap up the philosophical part of this. And I'll probably have to end soon too. I might not have to, but who knows? Let me put this back on the corner here. But I'm going to try to make more of a point of I wonder if I could make a OBS. Sorry. Is there a, no, there's not because I already have it plugged in. Off-stream ideas. This is in the notes section. Stream deck Neo OBS audio level. In the idea here is that in the tray here, in the info bar, you can put in OBS. You can do some pretty cool things. Like, I can do it here. I don't think it's going to mess up the stream. I think it'll be fine. Nope, that's going to mess up the stream if I dive. Dang. If I dive into that, it's going to switch the scene now. And I can't disable that. So that is it's kind of a one way. I could have a button beside it. I can make a button that does that. I copy this, paste it. That's a lighter weight version that doesn't actually launch. That just goes straight in. And I don't want to change the scene collection. So I just want to step inside of the profile and actually get rid of all this. Delete. 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 So it's a single step, multi-step. And I do the same thing for you. Copy, paste, because then I want to go back into you. Get rid of you. You. Software it functions. Is it ideal? Is it like optimized? No. So now I've got a lightweight version that I can basically step into and go to these timers. So here, like the stopwatch, I can reset this and doing a stopwatch now, and you can update it. You can see there it's animating, and that's what I'm seeing on my Stream Deck Neo. So you can animate this stuff. There's a small little frame rate. I don't know how many frames per second you can do on them. But I bet this is not original idea. It's really hard to have an original idea nowadays. You can come up with like really cool idea. Someone's already done it. Fairly cool idea. Someone's already done it. Shitty idea. Someone's already done it. Even the bad ideas are taken nowadays. It's probably coming up on the microphone pretty loud. My eating. Anyway. Info bar. Stream Deck Neo, OBS audio. Stream Deck Neo info bar. Neo info bar. Is that what they call it? What the fuck? Yeah, info bar. Stream Deck Neo info bar. OBS audio levels. There's got to be a way to do that, because what I don't notice is that if I can see my microphone, I can see it in OBS, but I'd like to know that that's doing the level, and how many pixels that is, and how much. That's actually not a half bad idea. Do I digress? I'm going to digress in a second for a bio break. Gonna be a little hell to pay when I haven't done my job today on my honeydew list. I think it would have the clock. So here's, I almost think that's a good enough idea to put in the goals, of the coding is a Stream Deck Neo info bar. Have the clock on it. There's the thing. I thought I had that in the goals and the notes. I can see it off the screen. Stream tweaks, add redacted when redacting. I was going to show the Casey Neistat. Casey Nesbitt. Who's Casey Nesbitt? I don't know. Neistat. To wrap up the philosophical stuff about this is why I'm doing more streaming than I have ever done, which is now I've 2 days in a row plus Friday and Friday the week before. But I'm coding these little micro projects that kind of get me. They're dual purposed. They're triple or quadruple entendre meanings going on here. But they're just something to do, idle minds type stuff. But they're not just something to do. They're also ways to practice continuing to code. And then they're also relevant to improving or optimizing my channel automation. And I thought yesterday, is there such a thing as like an OBS engineer or a stream engineer? Is there a job that I can get where I work for a large streamer to build software for them to automate? Like, can I just work for like PewDiePie, or I don't even know who the big streamers are. I think Ninja's probably like a nobody nowadays. But whoever these big gamers are, like no one has a game stream like I do. I don't see anybody doing picture-in-picture. I don't quite understand why no one does picture-in-picture. So I'm doing this because I think it's neat and fun and interesting. Why don't I see anybody else doing picture-in-picture streaming? Why is everyone all of the streamers are all about me, 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 me. This is me on a stream playing games. How narcissistic, how spoon-fed, how cookie-cutter that is to finish up what Casey's saying here. And then I'll segue into the next thing. So this is going to drop the audio level a little bit. He goes into forget that people are watching and just do what you want to do. Drop the barriers. But this is a guy who says he had no barriers, but he clearly was post-producing and had a barrier. But here I am trying to just almost exclusively live stream. I might push out my content creation will be a side effect of my live stream. Or if I have an idea while live streaming, then I will content create that idea. Other people, they're content creators, and then, because I got famous, and to me, they have it backwards, and my brain doesn't work that way. I think you drop the barriers, you live stream, and then you come up with something while live streaming, and then you tag it, you make a note of it, and then you create that as content as a result, as a nugget. Anyway, continue with Casey here.
So focused on themselves in this world, nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like you're totally free.
Yeah,
like,
totally free.
Exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be original.
If I talk, I want the level to be more of like a 20. I'm gonna be like a 30.
and then you start to go down that path, you will just get better.
Actually,
and better
let me
and
experiment with that. I've done a lot of distractions. While he's talking, let me find the level. This is going to help my mainstream. Let me find the level that makes that good. Okay, so I'm going to scroll this to the side. And make you any smaller? Not really. So I can at least squeeze you over there. Can I? I don't get the docking sometimes. I have an appointment sometime. So that's docked here. Of course it is off screen. And then you. So now I can tweak you a little bit. And this is pretty good, where if this will help my gaming streams by finding this level, so that I'll let the ambient audio, the natural output of the speaker play at full volume until it starts to register on my microphone so much that I need to clamp it out. The point is then, if I speak, only when I speak should it clamp the audio. My microphone picking up the output of the I got room there. My microphone picking up the speaker's output shouldn't be clamping and ducking its own audio. All right, let's set this to high. Okay, if I talk, that's enough for sure. But if I start this,
motivating way. Like I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative, or you want to exist on YouTube, or as a filmmaker, or a musician, or as an artist, or a painter, or any of those things, like you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of like,
if I
how am
talk,
gonna
then that
react to
ducks
this,
it.
and what's the best way to do, like, I was so aware. And the reality is nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like, you're totally free. Like, do exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being an original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be the original. But the moment you accept the fact that...
And there's the photocopy. All these streamers, just how narcissistic is it? He mentioned another one. So this is me talking. I think that's kind of right near the threshold. If I talk a little bit quieter, a little bit quieter, a little bit quieter, this is not really going to trigger it. It's probably going to start to climb here in a second. So if I talk a little bit, this is me. No, that is enough to trigger it. So that's probably pretty good. If I whisper or mumble or talk, it's still enough to trigger it. Let's just say 25, 24. Negative. Let's call it negative 24. So I mumble and can talk. At what point in time does my voice have to get that's pretty good. And then the second thing is I'm kind of realizing I don't, with the game audio that's so constant that I was looking at it like the other people, my other org members. For this stream, it probably doesn't make much sense for me to say that should be -12. So I might just let you be 0 and watch that. Watch this go all the way back up to the volume. The laptop audio capture is going to go all the way back to 0 now. Liar. Only when it changes. Yeah, that's right. Only when it changes, because the variable is set to -12. If I set to 0, only when I mute does it actually do that. So I set you to 0, and now I let this thing go and let it return. Bam, that did pretty good. And that's a -24 drop when I'm talking, which if it's music, for sure, I need to clamp the music, because the music's like that I typically listen to on that stream is pretty dramatic and epic, just because I'm trying to come up with it for stream. Did I get a text from my wife? That's on the Thursday. Okay. So I think that's good. I think, but I'm curious when I talk over Casey now, how much I clamp over his audio, and if I can basically kind of do a reaction type of sound quality where I can talk and duck him just a little bit. So let's repeat this section of his. I don't know the second that it's at, but let's repeat it again.
Those things, like, you think that everybody's paying attention, and because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of, like, how are people going to react to this, and what's the best way to do, like, I was so aware. And the reality is nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like, you're totally free. Like, do exactly what feels right to you.
Do what feels right.
And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being an original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be the original.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the point of this. Like, no one's doing this. No one's doing it's. I don't really get out there, and maybe I should. Maybe I should get out there and see what's going on in the world. But I do not see picture-in-picture streams. I do not see anybody doing what I do, and it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense to me how the esports is the way it is, and I'm the only one on the planet that's doing gaming the way I do it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just found a use for these timers here. I thought they might only be useful in the game, but if I copied them over to the stream, to the behind the scenes, I might be able to just time box myself, do countdowns and time boxes and stopwatches, and seeing how long it takes me to do stuff in the stream. I can basically give myself 30-second or 120-second time box to wrap up one of my tears. So I'll have to review how that audio went. I'm at what, point in the stream am I? I can bring you up a little. Oh, I can't. I am 2 hours and 56 minutes into the stream. And I can see at about 2 hours and 50 minutes into the stream. If I say note to self, then later I can look at the transcript and see note to self and find out this section. So I may copy this. Can I copy a whole page? I don't think I can copy a whole page. I'm confused. Okay, sorry, that takes it to only pins. All right. If I could copy, I can. Look at that. And then go behind the scenes and paste. That works. Delete. Okay. That's doable. I copied it individually yesterday. All 6 of those individually, one at a time. But you can apparently just right click and copy that whole thing. What does configure do? Change icon. You get an icon for it. Page name. Yeah. Doesn't really, not a whole lot, but. So yeah, I'm trying not to be cookie cutter. I feel like I'm pretty original. What I'm doing, I feel like, is pretty original. And excuse me, I just build it and they will come. My dirty mind hates that last word, but so here's the other Casey video. That one seems, let's see how YouTube strikes this. Here we go. Where's my YouTube strike? Does it show up and it passed the checks? Diary of a CEO. Oops. Diary of a CEO. Casey. Let's just grab the file name because I got it. Thing is, I don't think this is going to be a short. I think this is just going to show up as a video. 20, because I have it here, and I'm kind of this. Um, 2023, 12/11. Casey Neistat. Cakey. Now, make sure I don't get his name wrong. Nobody cares. So, whether this comes out as a short or not, how to upload YouTube Shorts. This is from the mobile. But then how do you upload a short? All you need is a smartphone. How to create a short? Create YouTube shorts from your videos. Only you can edit your long form video into a short. Tap remix, edit into a short. Go to the watch page of your video. So this will become a video. And can I make it a short from Android? I don't know. I mean, I can. But anyway. So trying this upload. Next. This is nothing. No subtitles. It says checks fine. No copyright issues found. Public. And I wonder if, that's where I was wondering if the long form, the standard form, and then, but that's going to jump around and it's going to be hard. This is like, I tailor edited this. I found this was a horrible, this is a horrible version. This edit is horrible. They cut it and it's so short and it's like not even, it's 27, this whole segment is 2 minutes long and you miss the meat of it. Plus then he even kind of, I cut out this first to get back to your point part. Anyway, let me play this.
Nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. You think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you're free.
So someone else did it. Like this person did it. So I should be able to, right? So I don't think I'll have a problem. This is a long form and I don't know if this, I could do, I could not list it. I can do a private and let me do it unlisted. And see what it looks like as far as in the videos. It does show as a short. Okay. So it shows as a short. How does it play?
19-year-old Casey, when he first arrived into New York City, what is the advice that Casey needed to hear at that point that he just didn't get? And I'm speaking to all the jacks out there that are 19.
Fuck, that's tough.
So this was the 4K version that I uploaded, and it took it, right? So this is where reading the instructions say, my wife's gonna probably text me in a moment saying I have to pick up the kids. Obviously the 4K was allowed, so there you go.
I think that, like, nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way. Like, I think that, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, or a musician, or as an artist or a painter, or any of those things, like, you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of like, how are people going to react to this? And what's the best way to do, like, I was so aware. And the reality is nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like you're totally free. Like do exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being an original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be the original. But the moment you accept the fact that nobody cares, do your thing, nobody cares. And then you start to go down that path, you will just get better and better and better. Then you sprinkle on that patience I was talking about. You just keep going. You keep going. And eventually, like that persistence will just smash into like opportunity. What is it? Preparation will smash into opportunity. Persistence will smash into opportunity. And like your moment of explosion, your detonation will happen. That was verbose, but you asked a big question.
I'm not this motherfucking night, bitch.
All right. I go public with it. It took, and let's go public with it. Why not? Okay. So that was that. That's Jamie. There's the post that just came out. I keep saying Jamie. Adam Savage's test bench. I'll set up a behind the scenes. These are my shortcuts. Nobody cares. These are some things I wanted to watch. All right, I'm going to take a break, but I'm going to stay on the stream for a little bit and maybe tinker around a little bit. I'm going to do some dishes and do my honeydew list. You want to see my honeydew list? My honeydew list. I've done most of them. But I'll try the be right back. Step up, step in, and I'll do the be right back and be back in a little while.
Actually, I am going to end the stream because I got to go pick up my girls. So I'm making an attempt to start it up again later tonight. And I'm going to try to do this a regular thing, taking inspiration from just get out there and like I've gotten out. I've done meetups. I've gone physical meetups and stuff, and this is just it's a lighter weight version of it. I'll still get out. This is not a substitute for getting out into the real world. So yeah, I'll just keep streaming, keep getting out there. Try to ignore my dark side. All right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And testing if my closure works here. All right. See you later.
I'm not this motherfucking night, bitch.